Everyone, this is Arla with By His Grace Academy, and I'm going to do a video to show how I use Rod and Staff's first grade reading curriculum to teach reading to my 5 and 6-year-old grandsons. Now we do use it's a series, it's a Bible Nurture and Reader series by Rod and Staff. And it comes in, there are 3 teacher's manuals. One is for Unit 1, and it's called We Learn About God. And Units 2 and 3 are We Learn More About God. And then Units 4 and 5, that's We Learn About God's People. And it also comes with each unit. There is a phonics workbook. There is a reading workbook, and then there is also one that's just, it says worksheets. And then there's also the reader for that unit. Each unit has, and let me see, I believe, yes, units 2 and 3 are in a hardbound book, and units 4 and 5 are also in a hardbound book. Okay, also, it comes with, well, it doesn't come with, you could buy it separately, and there are phrase cards that you use. Unit 1 has phrase cards, and on each phrase card it tells you what unit it is, and then after that it tells you what lesson. Like this would be Unit 1, Lesson 17. So like that's actually the next lesson that we're going to do. So I'm going to give you an idea of how I get that unit set up, how I get that lesson set up for the boys. So I will look in the teacher's manual, and the teacher's manual is divided into 2 sections. The first half of the book deals with phonics, and the second half deals with reading. And there are, let's see, how many lessons are there? There are 30 lessons. So the first half is lessons 1 to 30 for phonics, and then the second part would be lessons 1 to 30 for reading. So we're on lesson 17. So what I would do would be to go to lesson 17 in the teacher's manual, and and it tells you in the teacher's manual what you need to do to be prepared for that lesson. And it says, like for here, well, let me give you an idea too. We use, in the phonics part of the lesson, you get let me take these out. It comes with these different flashcards. The alphabet, consonant sounds, vowel sounds, combination sounds, digraphs, consonant blends, diphthongs, letters with more than one sound, letter sounds with certain letters, and then silent letters. So I would look through here, and we are doing the letter V. So I would look through here to get out the alphabet card for V. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Now, the alphabet card will show you the lowercase and the capital letter for the letter you're studying. And then also on the back, it shows it in cursive. And then also, it has just the lowercase, which would go with your stack that you would use when you review. Like, these are all of the 16 lessons that we've done already. And, you know, so what I will do is we will go through and I'll just put the letter up, and they will tell me the letter and the sound. Each of the boys will say the letter and the sound. And then other times we will say the letter, the sound, and then a word that would begin with that sound. So I would get out, like for this lesson, I would get out the V's. So I'd introduce the sound, and in the phonics workbook, let's get to 17. This is what it looks like. Okay. And so on this page right here, they're not all like this. Sometimes they're just pictures, and they would say the pictures, and if it begins with the sound that we're working on, they will color that picture, and if it doesn't, they would put an X on that picture. Here, they would do the dot to dot, and once they finish the dot to dot pictures, they will then pronounce the, well, tell me what the picture is, and if it begins with the sound, the V sound, they will color it, and if it doesn't, they would put an X on it. Down here, they have where they can practice the letter, and I don't actually have them do this part because they have a separate penmanship book that they are using. And so they would do this part first, and then they could, I don't even do this part anymore, where they have a sheet where it's a row of letters. Let's see, this is how it was at the beginning. So they could recognize the letter when they saw it. So, like here. Okay. In each row they would go across. This was for the letter E. So each time they saw a capital E, or this lighting, a capital E or a lowercase e, they would circle it, and then anything that wasn't an E, they would put an X on it. And then also they were learning how to recognize words that began with the letter E, and they would do the same thing. If the word began with the letter E, they would circle it, and if it didn't, then they would put an X on it. I don't do that portion anymore because they are really good at recognizing their letters. So after recognizing the letter and the words, and then like for let's see, C, it's identifying initial sounds. And so what they would do on this portion would be they would say the name of the picture. Okay, I'm so sorry for this lighting. And then they would circle the letter that it begins with. So at first what I would do would go through and make sure they knew the name of each picture. And once I knew they knew that, then they could do this section on their own. And then also here they would put the beginning combination, like for van. Or is that a bus? Oh, it's a van. So for van, they would put VA, because they would note van starts with the va sound. So the initial consonant sound with the vowel that follows. And so they would do that. And here, these are where they would actually circle the ending sound for these pictures. They would also read the list here on the edge of the page. Each of them would read it separately. And I don't have them do it together because one of them may pronounce it correctly and the other one won't, and I might not understand who's doing what. So I just do it separately with both of them. But that's in our phonics. We also I play a game with them where I have these foam letters, and I believe I got these from Dollar Tree. Foam letters with all of the blue are all of the lowercase letters, and then I also have yellow foam letters that are all the capital letters. Now they have in the back of the book where you can actually cut out. Let's see here. Yes, you can cut out for each lesson. For each lesson, it comes with these combinations. Now we're on lesson 17, so I could go all the way to, let's see where lesson 17 is, right here. And they would use these, they would cut these out. If we were doing that, they'd cut these out and then glue them in the right section here. They would glue those there. But like I said, and what I do is I will call out we do the CVC words, and I might say top, and they will look through the letters that they have sitting in front of them and pick out the letters. I'll actually watch them as they're sounding out and looking, and then picking the correct letters and spelling the word. And they really like that part of the lesson. Let's see. Okay, so that is for the phonics part. Now, after we're done with phonics, we move on to the reading portion of our lesson. And it's also a Bible lesson too. So we start here. This one, it's called God is Very Good. And it tells me here which new words to pull out. And those would be on my word cards, the vocabulary word cards or reading word cards. And so the new words and you can look right here. Each one, like for lesson 17, unit 1, lesson 17, you pull that, and it's not going to be many new ones. It's usually 2 or 3. There may have been 1 or 2 lessons where maybe there were about 4, maybe even 5 words that I had to pull out. But these are words that they practice. And then they also tell you which words to review. Like for this lesson, they'll want to review from lesson 13 to lesson 16, plus the new words. And then any other words necessary if the kids are having problems pronouncing some of the earlier words, then you'd want to include those in your review words. So I would pull those out. And then also it tells you which phrase cards to pull out, which are larger. Here's here are the word cards, and here are the phrase cards. And the same thing. I would pull out the new ones, and then it tells you which phrase cards to use for review. And the way I do this is I show them the phrase, and then I put it down, and then they will respond with what they saw. And I'm working really hard with teaching them how to read fluently. so that they're not reading each individual word like two separate. There are two separate words, but I want them to read it as a phrase, not as just two separate words. And so they are doing well with that. Believe it or not, the younger of the two, my 5-year-old grandson, I noticed that he really focuses in on doing that, and he does that very well. Both of them do, but my younger one seems to have a better understanding of what I'm talking about when I say to read it fluently. But anyway, so I will go over their Bible lesson, and like for this lesson, for lesson 17, it's we learn about God and creation. And that's what we started with, the days of creation. And it's we learn about God and creation. God is pure and holy, and he divides. And then, so I would read the lesson, and they also have Bible verses that they have learned. And I go over the old Bible verse, and then we review like if we have a new one, then we'll go over that. And then it tells me what to print on the board, like how to introduce the new words. Like for the word, they already know the word light. Okay? Like that was one of their earlier words, light. And so they want me to put that word on the board, and then right under that, they want me to write the new word, night, under it. And then I would print the sentence, God made day and night. Day and night are very good. And then I'll point to, it says here, like point to the word light. And then you know this word. What is it? The word below rhymes with it. And I would be showing them the word light. And it says, it is just like it except for the beginning sound. You know the beginning sound, so what is the new word? And so they give you ideas of how to introduce the new words. Now, and then it says, now try to read the sentences under the words. And then after we do that, then I practice the new and review words, and then I practice the phrases. And then they will get their reader out. That would be this. They'll get their reader out. And that's when I would introduce the word divides under the picture. And then it says to identify the things God divided in the 3 days by the 3 sets of pictures. So that would be in the book. So they will read the book, their lessons silently, and then they will read it, each of them separately aloud. And they're not long lessons at all. I'm going to show you the first lesson that they had, and I'm going to show you how long that was. Well, I should say how short that was. Okay? This is lesson 1. And that's the word that they had for that day. And then like the next day, you see it increases. It increases. And anyway, here we are on lesson 17. And sometimes they have things like, this is let's see, this would be for water. And so they have a picture of it. First they have the pictures here, and it has the name under the picture. And so they will read, they know the words here, and then they will see the picture and then just say what the picture is and just continue reading. And so after they each read their lesson to me, then they will go to their reading workbook. And they'll go to lesson 17 in their reading workbook. And this is how this looks. So here it's match the phrases. And it's just a set of phrases here from words that they've learned. And then they have to just draw a line to the matching phrase over here. And then down here, yeah, well, let's see. Okay, well, if I do that, then you can't see the. All right, so then we'll read the directions, circle the correct word, yeah, and then they will read the sentence, and they will actually say blank, like God made the blank. Then they will read the 3 words underneath, and they will place each word in the blank until they get to the word that makes sense. Okay? And so they would do that with each of these. And even down here, they usually have what the directions say, because I said it's important that you follow directions. This says circle the correct word, so I don't want them handing in a paper where they underlined the correct word, because then they weren't following the directions. And this will have, usually the last one is the directions, and it starts out with blank the correct word. And so you've got match, circle, or underline. And all they have to do is look right up here to where the directions are, and then find that word here, and then circle it. Okay? Over here, now circle the correct word. Then it has a picture like of the moon, and it has night, and then it has day. So they would circle night because that's when the moon comes out. Here there's a child on a swing, and it says night, day. And of course, that would be day. Not that you couldn't swing at night, but they would put day. Here, someone is working in the garden, night, day. So that's just how they would do that. Down here, match the pictures. They have a person's head, hand, shirt, foot. And like here for the hand, you would draw a line from the hand to the mitten. From the foot, where is it? From the foot to the socks. From the head to the hat, and so on. There's also worksheets. I don't always do this because that's a lot of, it's a lot of work. And so there are times that if I'm working with one of the boys, or either their cousin when she's being homeschooled here, because she also does a lot of work at her house, which she does a lot of easy peasy, and so she can do that at home. But we're actually going to start having her come back here to do all of her work. Okay, so anyway, like on this right here, God divides, and that's the word, that's what the lesson was about. Things that God divided, like the day from the night, and the land from the water. So here, you will cut this right here, and you will find out where it belongs up here. So that is another thing that they can do, and sometimes they do that. Especially when it relates a lot to the lesson. So they have the 3 workbooks that they work out of. They have their reader. I have my my teacher's manual. I have my word cards. I have my phrase cards. And then I have my phonics cards. Well, my phonics cards. I added in foam letters to use instead of what's in the back of the book, the cutout. Same thing, but just cut out. And so I have that. And that's all you need to teach this course, this reading course. I've used this with my 14-year-old granddaughter when she was learning to read. I used this also with my now 25-year-old son, when he was learning to read. I used this with my 28-year-old daughter when she was learning to read. So I really like rod and staff, especially for first, second, and third grade for reading. I also use rod and staff's math, and I'll do another video. I showed a video before showing that that's what I use, but I'm going to also do a video on that to show you what that encompasses, what I do to prepare for the lesson and what the lesson looks like. So I hope this was of help to anyone that may be considering using Rod and Staff's reading program. If you have any more questions about this curriculum, please, you can ask those questions below in the comments section. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy homeschooling. Bye.